So, good evening. This is Sri Krishna. Today's class, I am going to explain what exact the course content we are going to cover and what approach we are going to follow. Please raise any question if required in between also. So, try to be interactive so that I am going to explain something. Of course, today the theoretical session just explain the topics. Every class will contain practical topics. We are going to introduce a topic every day. We are going to write multiple practical example after discussing our basic concepts and tags. So, actually you are looking for Java full stack. If you have any basic about Java, otherwise we are going to start from very basics. Even you know the basics of Java or not, any programming language or not, we are going to start from very basics only. The course content is all about full stack. If you know what is the full stack, okay. Otherwise, I'm giving a basic idea about that one. Whenever you are creating any application, we require to write multiple components. An user interface required where user can interact with system. They are going to by typing something or by clicking some icon, they are going to interact system. Then when you click on some icon, when you click on one button, the request will be sent to server that needs to be processed. Then if required, it has to interact with the database to store and retrieve data. So there are different types of functionality required. At least we need to have user interface, that technically we can say front-end functionality, where a data business logic and database functionality required, that is called backend. A business logic and database logic together is a part of backend, which we not directly seen by the user. So you need to create different types of component. As a full stack developer, we are going to learn different languages and tools and libraries and frameworks to create application. Earlier days, when you are selecting a Java language, by using Java language, we are going to write business logic backend functionality. Then the backend application itself generate a view page by using Java technology, or you may use web technology. But nowadays, a front-end application will be created separately, and a back-end application is going to provide services. I am using so much of terminology. Later on, you are going to learn all these technology. Today, you may get some jargon words that we can learn one by one. So the meaning of full stack is we are going to create multiple components to create end-to-end functionality. So we are going to learn different languages and tools. Out of the Java full stack, where backend business logic and API generated by using language Java and related frameworks and libraries. Here, what exactly we are going to do here is Java full stack, where we are going to start with core Java, the essentials of Java, basics of Java, generally we can say core Java. So here, so every program, what is the language, what is the need of language? A language used to communicate. An English language, Telugu language used to communicate. Similarly, a programming language used to write some statement, a set of statement, a program, so that we are going to execute a functionality. So you are going to get some work from system. So you need to interact with the system. It required binary language, but we are not able to write directly in the binary language. So the high level language instructions we are going to write, that is converted to machine code. So what exactly Java? Java is a technology which provide a platform, which provide a language specification, which provide tools. Then everything I will discuss. Today I am focusing on only course content only. We are going to learn what the Java, what the tools supported by Java, different editions of Java, versions of Java, and then how to set up your Java environment, how to compile the program, how to run the program. Everything we are going to start with. And every Java program required, you need to work with the data, you need to create a variable. Whenever you are going to create a variable, we require to tell the type of data we are going to store, that we have data types. Initially, we talk about primitive data type. For the primitive data types, for the range they have, for the different types we are supporting, we are going to learn. Then after, control structures. If you want to control the flow of execution, we require control structure. You have a conditional statement, you have a looping statement, those things we can write. So here we are going to write multiple standard example that every developer has to know to understand how to generate logic. Our focus on in the course content is not learning a program, you need to learn the programming. So you have to generate some code based on the knowledge or guidance you are going to get here. So that is very important because the programs you don't learn. If you learn the programs today, tomorrow you may cannot generate new program. If you learn programming, you need to generate a code for a given requirement. In the interview point of view, they may ask to create a small program you ready to write because of tomorrow you need to implement some functionality on the job. Then we are going to use arrays concept. So when we have a bunch of data, similar type of array is a fundamental structure to hold complex couple of data, some collection of data with a fixed size. So then we are going to see how to take input, how to provide output, everything we can see, how we are going to create interactive input, different type of data by the scanner class we can discuss. One of the important features of Java is object oriented, Java is multi-threaded, Java is the platform independent. There are so many features of Java existed. First and fundamental thing are object oriented programming language. Of course, it is one of the object oriented programming language. Python all support object orientation. Even C++ language can support object orientation. Like that, several languages also available. Now, so whenever you are working on business application, a business application means maybe an e-commerce application or a banking application or insurance project or everyday whatever you are using for day-to-day transaction, where you are booking a ticket or where you are doing it online, is all about business application. When you are working on business application, every business application contains objects and their interaction. So to implement the real world functionality into the software system, so we need to follow object orientation feature. The important features of object orientation is abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. We are going to see the theoretical definition about that one, and more on that we can see practical implementation. How Java is going to implement this feature by using different keywords or the construct we are going to learn. So class and object, reference, static, non-static, like concepts available, and constructor topic, overloading functionality. Okay, what are the methods, what are the static variables, and then concept of inheritance, super classes and subclasses, overriding concept, super keyword, all the concept we are going to learn. And one more thing called abstract classes interface topic also there. And we see not only the traditional ways, some latest version contains some of the new additions, new features are there. Those features also we are going to discuss. Those features are functional interfaces, lambda expression. Even interview point of view also, those are very essential. They may ask you one question at least regarding the newest API that introduced in the latest version. Then packages interface also a content available. We are going to write Java classes, Java programs. We are going to write .java file. When you compile .java program, compilation means converting high-level language source code to some intermediate bytecode. The dot class file we are going to create. So set of dot class will make one package. Package nothing but a folder-like environment where we are going to create multiple classes in a single folder. If you want to manage your Java application code, we have to create packages and interface concept also we can see. Then after we can see string handling and utility function we may use for processing of string buffer, string builder, for the mutable or the immutable, the features we can see. Then after we are going to see exception handling. If you are working on any program language, we may have very high level three types of errors may come. sometimes syntax errors referred as compile time errors, and we have a runtime errors are called exception. The third one is called logical error. When you are using the wrong syntax, it is not a valid program. So program cannot run. Program cannot generate bytecode also. But when you compile a program properly, a bytecode may be created when you are executing program within the client environment or within the development environment. You may get abnormal situation that is called exception. Whenever exception happen, program will be terminated. Even you write thousands of lines of statement, if first line have any error, any runtime error, program will be terminated. But as a user, you don't expect that type of feature. If any problem happen, it has to give appropriate output. It has to give continue to program execution. For that, exception handling is required. Java has a better exception handling features. Has we have a try, catch, throw, throws, finally keywords available to work with exception handling feature. Not only we can see basic keyword, what the user defined exception, how user defined exceptions are implemented, why we need user defined exception, those also we are going to discuss. Then after, one more feature of Java is multi-threading. So in general, we have to know what the multi-process environment. Multi-thread means within the single program, we may execute multiple flows concurrently, simultaneously, or parallelly. We may achieve multiple functionality within the program. If you want to achieve those functionality, multi-threading is required. For the thread, how threads can be created, for the different methods we are going to use within the thread environment, those we are going to see. So how to create thread, how to start a thread, how to synchronize a thread, everything we can see. And here only we can see the concept of synchronization. Then input output. Initially we are going to learn basic input output functionality, but here we are focusing on concept of files. When you are working on a program, you may read input from the user, you may process, you may display output. But once your program is closed, nowhere data can be stored to retrieve it later. One simple way of storing data permanently, that what we call persistence, that we call creation of files, and files are managed through folders. How to create folder, how to read files from the folder, how to work with stream classes and reader classes, we can discuss to persist data in a raw format. Then we can see one more concept of serialization. While working on multi-threading, synchronization topic is there, very essential. While working on IO stream, we are going to use serialization topic. Then we may see one or two examples related to networking within the Java. Then we see basic features of GUI, graphical user interface, to get basic functionality. But mostly nowadays we are going to create web application. But how basic Java environment is going to create frame-based application, that one example we are going to see it. Then after, collection framework, one of the very important topic, even application implementation point of view, as an interview point of view. When you go to interview without asking any question, no interview can end. So for the collection API, what is the advantage of collection API? What is set, what is the unordered, what is the ordered. So what are the unique elements, everything you can see it. Then in the Java 8, there are different versions of Java, Java 8, Java 11, Java 17, Java 22 available. Out of that, Java 8 has some important features that are very focused on required. We require very much focus is required. So that is called streaming API that we are going to discuss. Up to here we say essentials of Java, core Java, or basics of Java. Once this functionality is completed, we are going to start about database. What is the database? What is the relational database? Database management system, and what are the different servers we have? Oracle, MySQL, DB, like different servers available, and the language of SQL. SQL is a structured query language, is a standard language to communicate with any of the relational database management systems like Oracle, MySQL, or DB2 like environments available. SQL have different categories of command. DDL commands, DML command, DCL command, TCL commands. Now, apart that one, we can see how to write select query with using inner queries or aggregate function and join concept. So those are very important. Even you may expect one question in the interview, even the technical examination, you may write one complete query for a given one or two tables or set of tables. Then we try to integrate Java application with database where we can use the concept of JDBC. So integration of database or the driver or the connection or the statement or the different interface available or the different implementation class available and transaction management also we may see it. After completion of this topic, we are going to learn the concept of web technologies or the website or the web page or the web application, dynamic web application, static web application. We are going to by learning HTML, CSS basic concept and Bootstrap, we are going to create one web page or website. Here you need to write one portfolio application by using all the skills, whatever you are going to gain in the class session. Then after we try to understand the concept of JE feature, Java Enterprise Edition feature, like servlets and JSP are important components we are going to learn to generate dynamic content from server side in the web application. So what servlet or servlet lifecycle, request object, response object, session object, config, contest. There are so many features are there, all related to web application or the redirection, request dispatcher feature. Then after we can see JSP, Java Server Pages. If you understand this thing, no problem. I will tell you in depth one by one, step by step, whenever you are working on in the classroom session. Then we can see different cases of that or the purpose of JSP or the advantage of JSP so to create dynamic content. After learning of these concepts, we say filters concept. Then we see concept of design patterns. Design pattern, MVC design pattern, DAO pattern, or DTO pattern, like things we are going to understand. Patterns, design patterns are best practices you need to follow while implementing a programming logic. Out of that, when you are working on web application nowadays, not only in the Java, anywhere, you need to follow one of the important pattern called MVC pattern. By using MVC pattern, we are going to implement one end-to-end e-commerce application. We are completely focused on case study based and application implementation point of view. So whatever the project you are going to implement here, that is to place in resume also. After completion of these concepts, we have to understand the concept of web services, what the need of web services, what the types of web services, what the REST API, what the web API, how services can be created, how services can be tested, and how services can be consumed. That we are going to learn. Then after we see the concept of framework without Java, without discussing about framework like Spring in the Java, we don't have a Java programmer. You need to understand what the project management tool, what a Spring framework, what a Spring different project, Spring Boot, Spring framework, Spring data, Spring cloud, Spring security, all the in-depth features we are going to learn related to Spring. Spring MVC features also we are going to learn. Like while working on Spring data, we may use Hibernate type topics. That's also very important. Hibernate ORM framework, and Spring security, Spring MVC, Spring Boot. And here also we see the concept of microservices. Microservices, what are the need of microservices, how microservices can be implemented effectively within the Spring Boot environment by using features of Spring Cloud. There is our concept, we may see it. Up to here, we can say Java backend functionality apart from HTML, CSS basic concept. And the topics we have HTML, HTML5, CSS, Bootstrap, we are going to learn. And apart from, we need to learn the concept of JavaScript. Earlier days, JavaScript purely used within the client side to dynamic web application. Nowadays, JavaScript can be used within the server also. But now we are working on Java full stack. We mostly use Java within the backend. JavaScript is limited to front end only. So JavaScript also one of the scripting language. So many features of language. Every language feature is also available. But within the Java's point of view, we need to understand arrow function, different methods of constructors, and we have a regular expression concept also. We are going to closures, and we have a DOM manipulations, and we are going to the fetch API. So many features we are going to then promises concept. Then after we are going to use the React.js, one of the JavaScript library for the creation of user interfaces, what is called single page application. Most of them you are working on, when you see a Facebook, when you see a Gmail, when you have something like or YouTube site, these are basically single page application. If you want to create single page application, one of the best library of JavaScript is React.js. Here we have to understand what is the real DOM, document object model, what is virtual DOM, what is components, how component can be created, and how component can be interacted to get better functionality within the JavaScript front-end application. The filters concept, reducers, and routing concept, and hooks concept are also available. Then we can see one more library called Redux functionality. So Redux is one more library of JavaScript. React Redux we are going to use to create a state management. State management. So where we have to use all the features. It's all about course content. Along with this course content, we are going to use MongoDB, a NoSQL databases. Initially, we learn about relational databases. Then we are going to use MongoDB, one of the NoSQL database, document-based database. Apart from, we are going to have cloud services for the cloud, for the cloud computing, for the different services given by cloud service providers. And one of the cloud service provider environment we are going to deploy our application. Apart from, we need to understand what the distributed version control system, what the Git, what the GitHub like tools are required, how effectively we are going to manage our code for code collaboration, code version management. So the end-to-end application development, once you attend the class, you are going to learn multiple things regarding the application development from end to end. So we are implementing at least one project, one e-commerce application or an application required by yourself. So every day you need to practice it. I will give you assignment and mock-up exam, mock-up test also we're going to conduct, mock interviews also. If you attend that one, and you may get some idea about how you need to face interview. And every day you have an assignment and assessments also be conducted, so that you can get hands-on experience. You need to implement at least one end-to-end application that you need to place on resume. So definitely when you put in a resume, they are going to ask you question. You are ready to give answers. When you really did, you may give answers. That's the basic thing. There's the focus. Ma, how many of you completed your graduation or you are still studying? What exactly your requirement? Please let me know. So Karthik, Mustafa, Satyavani, Vamsi, and Veerbabu. Am I audible? Yes. So in the classroom session, either in offline or online, you need to interact. You have to respond so that I can deliver in effective manner. It's not about learning a program. You need to understand programming. You need to generate application. The actual thing you require to face an interview and to work in the real job. These are the course content we are going to cover. It is more than enough. As a fresher, you require doesn't more than that. The only thing is you need to understand, you need to deliver the same. Please let me know, do you have any question? Hello. Okay. If you require any, the first topic demo, them, so that we are going to start a batch, and I think in the this month end, so that where we are going to give one more explanation about that one. But you don't bother about course content. I will cover everything whatever required. The thing is, you need to respond. You need to understand it. If any questions, okay. Otherwise, I wind up the session. You can interact the team for rest of the questions. Okay, thank you.